Hi, and welcome to RedTrack stream number 14. So today, following the multiple requests to expand on the topic that we had 2 weeks ago, we're talking again about Facebook, Google Privacy Sandbox, all the changes that are coming to ad tech to all the marketers with the death of the third-party cookies, cross-site tracking technologies, and all the other tools that we all the marketers, because we're also marketers for our own product, used to deal with for the last, 15 years. But before we move on, as usual, please tell me if you can hear me loud and clear, if the quality of sound is good, if the video is okay. Just type in yes, we can hear you. Okay, I do hope that somebody will type yes, we can hear you. That would mean that the sound is actually on, because I don't hear myself when doing streams. So it's very important to get some feedback. And meanwhile, we also learned that a lot of people watch those streams after it went live, and more people actually watch the streams. Thank you very much. Thank you. Great that you can hear me well on Facebook, so probably same for YouTube and all the other channels. And we are on Twitch, by the way. I never know if somebody watches us on Twitch, but we are there. Okay, having said that, first thing first, just for those who will watch us later on who don't know who RedTrack is, we are ad tracking and conversion attribution solution. And this stream, when we talk about all things that have to do with tracking ads, tracking conversions, doing attributions, and MarTech in general. And today's topic, it's a very important one. It was inspired by our participation in Internext previous week, I guess, when somebody asked, hey Vlad, do you really believe that Chrome and Google actually will shut down third-party cookies? We had all those scary stories about push notifications go down, something else not working. So we think that pixels and third-party cookies, they will remain in place, and that's more like a scary tale for people, for whatever marketing needs all those companies have. And you know what? I disagree with that statement. And so we want to talk today about this simple fact is, let me make this screen bigger, or like this, is Google Privacy Sandbox for real? And please tell me if you can see the screen good, if it is big enough. If it's not, I'll just remove myself from the presentation and I'll just see the slides. So meanwhile, let's do a brief intro about a couple of things why we believe it's real. So first, a lot of commotion is happening in all the communities with the changes to Facebook Pixel and Facebook attribution. And Facebook, being an interesting company, they say, okay, because of iOS 14 changes, we now change how we do attribution across the whole traffic, including mobile web and regular web. Although iOS 14 changes, as we talk, they cover just a small fraction of all the traffic Facebook has. Well, I mean, that's a small fraction, but it's not even the bigger part of that traffic. Those just Apple devices with the recent iOS version. But the changes to pixels will impact all and everybody. So why it's happening? Because Facebook knows that Google Sandbox is for real. And what is Google Sandbox? Again, if you want to really dive into details, the link will be in the description of this video, somewhere down in the bottom. And meanwhile, let us focus on the important stuff. These are exact phrases from this Privacy Sandbox initiative. I mean, we will place more and more restrictions on the use of third-party cookies, but what's even more important, we will aggressively combat the techniques that imitate third-party cookies for cross-site tracking. And that's for everybody's first and foremost digital fingerprints that a lot of companies are using for tracking and attribution. And so, getting back to that question, do we think that it will be for real? You know what? I said, yes, we do. And moreover, it is happening as we speak. So first, let's dive a little bit into the past to see why the change is not coming out of the blue. Even something Facebook does was totally expected, and surprisingly, or not surprisingly, or not coincidentally, we as a net tracker, we're actually ready for all those Facebook conversion API changes. We help dozens of customers right now with our Facebook API integration and with the release we did today, but we'll talk about it in some other communications. It's amazing stuff what we did. I'm surprised to like all participating in designing this solution, but I'm happy to see how it actually took shape in life. So we'll see how it works now. But today about the Google and the Privacy Sandbox. It was in the making for many years. And there are three major trends that were happening and are happening right now that influences this decision. First, legal changes worldwide as to the data collection use. I mean, everybody is familiar with GDPR, but similar regulations are accepted in many different countries worldwide. And actually, people are getting cautious with who gets their data and what they do with their data. And the easiest way to enforce those regulations is actually to limit uncontrolled cross-site exchange of your personal data between different parties. That's what happens with third-party cookies. And of course, ad blockers that rely heavily on analyzing what's been loaded on the page, analyzing the cookies on the page, and blocking all those domains from actually showing you the content that also contributed to the change. But most and important trend would be browser gatekeeping. And you know what? Chrome is actually very late, or probably even will be the last one to the party. Because, almost 4 years ago, Safari launched intelligent tracking prevention for its browser. And when RedTrack just started its first steps, it was the first thing we ran into 3 years ago that RedTrack is not tracking conversions on Safari properly. And when a lot of other tools said, okay, guys, when I talk about attribution, we can assume that some fraction, like 10% of your data because of Safari will not be correct. You can accept it and move on. Since we were working and are still working with performance marketers, with affiliates, where 10% of conversions, and actually more than 10% for some of the niches, is a lot. We just cannot allow ourselves to say, hey guys, let's forget about 10% of conversion data. It's your revenue, but we don't track it because of the Safari. It was not a choice for us. And by the way, for all of you who have heard this comment from other companies about, let's forget about Safari, it's 10%, not much. Because being a marketer myself, I believe that 10% of data being not counted correctly is a lot, especially because there are a lot of other issues that will contribute to that loss of data, and eventually will be more than 10%. So if you had this experience with Safari, please share your comments. Just type in something. It would be great to hear your thoughts. And meanwhile, we'll continue with Firefox that implement enhanced tracking prevention 2 years ago. And well, it actually happened earlier, but 2 years ago, it went on by default. And between Safari and Firefox, depending on the market you're talking about, that's already more than 10%. For Germany, where Firefox is very popular, that might be well more than 25%. And you can't ignore this fact alone. Now, then Microsoft followed suit, and of course, they name it Microsoft Tracking Prevention. So not intelligent, not enhanced, but Microsoft Tracking Prevention. It's not on by default in the strictest setting, but it's just a matter of time when we'll do it. And now Chrome announced that they will block all cross-site tracking by 2022. So something that is happening is not new. It could have been expected, and actually a lot of companies, including us, RedTrack, were working on being able to meet all the requirements in terms of compliance and technology since Safari made the move with intelligent tracking prevention. So it's here to stay, and yes, by the end of this year, it's already 2021, most of the third-party cookies, and so pixels, that a lot of companies for tracking, for conversion tracking, for attribution will die out. So another reason for this to happen is that the death of third-party cookies actually benefits a lot the biggest players, the guys who have their walled gardens like Google, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, because they have a lot of their own first-party data about us, meaning their ad systems can keep all the targeting, all the profiles, because that data you share with them by logging into your Google accounts daily, by logging into your Facebook accounts daily, by buying an Amazon daily, by using your iPhone daily or laptop daily. So they know I have a lot of first-party data that they don't need to share with everybody, but all the mid-tier or smaller players suddenly don't have access to this data, at least free, like they used to do. So not only this move protects our privacy to some extent, and it's a lot of good things that can come off blocking third-party cookies and cross-site tracking, but it also contributes to the bigger players and doing business as they used to do. And the very important part, and basically something we're asked often, are all cookies going to die? Of course, no. It's a very important statement. Yes, when we get people who ask us, hey guys, do you do cookie-less tracking? We say no, although we are guilty of using this for promotion, because that's now what people want to see. Hey, Chrome is blocking third-party cookies, so we're looking for cookie-less tracking. Only third-party cookies will die. First-party cookies will remain. And basically the whole first-party data that is owned and controlled by web properties will now be king. Data was always the king, but now the control of this data all goes down to the websites that generate this data, whether it's your landing page, even for Facebook pixel, or your web property, your web store, etc., etc. Now you and only you, well, a year from now, will be the ultimate owner of this data, and nobody using their pixels can get this data about your visitors from your website without your consent and control. So first-party cookies will stay, third-party cookies and digital fingerprints, all this stuff will be gone. That's very important. So it's not like cookieless, it's sort of third-party cookieless tracking and conversion attribution. And that's very important. So whenever you see cookieless, and we do it ourselves, it's usually talking about third-party cookies. So what will be impacted? And frankly speaking, if we take a look at ad tech space, it's like everyone will be impacted, no exceptions. So from reach campaigns, and of course frequency, because you based reach and frequency of impressions to a particular user, it was usually done using cookies. Boom, gone. All kinds of targeting and collecting the data, gone. Remarketing that is based on cookies being able to catch a particular visitor on a particular website and show him your ad, gone. Control and transparency when you audit campaign performance on third-party sites, depending on the tools used, but again, it's not like gone, it's everything we have to adapt. And of course, with all the ad-funded websites, now they either will have to create paywalls or think about creative strategies to keep generating revenue through ads, because they used to thrive through let's say all those targeting and remarketing when they can produce generic content, but sell high-profile audience that visits their generic content. Now, content and quality content to keep the audience engaged will be even more important. It's just not something and somebody clicks, all those clickbait sites that spawn the networks like Outbrain and Taboola. Probably most of them will die out because all those ads will suddenly become very irrelevant because no targeting, no remarketing, no frequency control, and it means you won't click them as much as you probably click now, unless you click them by mistake. So these are a lot of impacts to everything in EdTech, but like we said multiple times before, we humans and we technology companies, we are amazing because we know how to adapt. And I believe everybody will find ways to adapt and thrive in the new challenges of post third-party cookie world, like somebody told recently. Now, important part for our niche is measurement and ad verification. And probably I can say measurement part of analytics and attribution. So, surprisingly, ad verification, especially fraud detection, and the big hooray to our partners, FraudScore, they will not be impacted. They're probably the only company that will not be impacted by the death of the third-party cookies, although we still don't know about the user agent because they don't use third-party cookies. Everybody else will be impacted. Recently, we did amazing feature that we call cross-campaign multi-touch attribution, and everybody would ask us, hey Vlad, why don't you do a post view or view-through attribution? We say, no reason, because it will die out somewhere 6 months from now. So we don't even want to invest into feature development resource. We don't want to start selling this feature to somebody because we know it will stop working this year. So no view through or post view attribution, sadly, unless somebody will find a very creative way, and we'll talk about those creative ways later in this presentation. And again, if you have any questions about these things, feel free to type questions now, and I will answer them right after we finish talking. So, view through attribution, post view will die out, sadly. Very useful, but we will learn to deal without it. Multi-touch attribution, if it were based on third-party cookies or user agent, we call it digital fingerprints, as it is done by most companies right now, sad news, it will not work. For everybody else, there are multiple ways to adapt. We'll talk about them right now. As an industry, as a solution for marketers, it will survive and thrive. Cross-device attribution, same story. As long as it's based on proper data sets that are obtained from first party, and good cross-device attribution is basically based on this data, it will survive and thrive. Ad tracking and conversion attribution, again, of course, if the tools will stick to pixels because they were easy to use. Give a pixel, something works. Or user agents, don't even give a pixel, it works. Oh, sorry, not user agents, but digital fingerprints based on user agents. But now all those tools will have to adapt. And the biggest impact, of course, will be, okay, all affiliate marketers who are on the stream right now or will be watching the stream in the recording, sorry, the stuff when you used to give your pixel to your advertiser and they feed the data to a pixel for your traffic, forget about this. It's gone because actually Facebook nullified it sooner because they require to verify domain now. But anyway, it was going to die sometime this year. Facebook just foresees events and forces the change. So he as a business is ready for this. And everything else, as long as it's not using third-party cookies or digital fingerprints, will be working fine. So it's not a big deal. It's not really challenging. It just requires a different brand of technology to operate. So we have multiple checklists on the website how to prepare for this change, whether you're affiliate marketer, whether you are ad agency, whether you are e-com direct-to-consumer brand. So check our website. You can download those guides. Hope you'll find them useful. And for us, let's talk how industry in general, we think industry in general will prepare. Of course, when it actually will happen, we'll see how theory stands to practice. But given the results we have and multiple other companies we talked to have, we think that this theory has a really good chance to stand to practice when Chrome will shut down all cross-site tracking. So, very simple. First of all, first-party data will become a king. And of course, any identity-based solution, any way that you can get and collect the data and provide your own user identification to all the clicks and exchange this data between all the parties will become the savior. So instead of cookie matching tables for all the programmatic ad tech, we'll now have user matching tables. And somebody who has data on most all the users will thrive because he will control the flow of this information. And of course, first-party data, local storage, first-party cookies, user sessions, everything that belongs to you or to users with their consent now belongs to you, and something you control will still be very relevant to making decisions. And of course, for all the advertising campaigns with properly remarketing, sort of gone. All the interest targeting, sort of gone, unless it will be based on the first-party data. That now will be very, very important, and you'll be able to use it only on the bigger placements, like not on your generic content clickbait websites, like a lot of other people want to do, because those clicks were coming cheap. You will have to invest into more creative strategies to get to your audience. And of course, instead of interest targeting, we are back to contextual targeting. Something, and I have to say that I'm doing digital marketing for more than 20 years by now. Everybody used to do, for example, 20 years ago, there were no Google ads. There were no remarketing. There were no programmatic. And we actually were doing finding best placements, agreeing the deals, running ads, and doing contextual intelligence. Now, 20 years past, with the rise of machine learning, artificial intelligence, it will be very easy to create and analyze the context of the ads being placed and receiving very similar or maybe even better results compared to audience targeting just by running proper ads on proper pages in proper context. So again, like we said in the beginning, not the end of the world. Companies and marketers will adapt, and best thing that we actually have months to evaluate the technology stack in use, to find out what companies are ready to switch to first-party data, how it will impact the tracking and attribution. And like I said, if you have any questions about how it works, reach out to us. We're happy to talk, happy to share our insights, our findings, and our solutions to doing ad tracking and conversion attribution without using our cross-site tracking technologies or third-party cookies. And that's what we do. We build the technology for this. We can work as your independent attribution or tracking partner, even providing multi-touch cross-campaign attribution. In this way, we become a single source of truth. And same RedTrack, because we know it works, but I'm positive there will be dozens of our solutions on the market that will do the same. Moreover, we don't expect, I hope most people don't expect you to suddenly become very technology advanced. So all these tools will take care of your S2S communication, server-to-server communications, like server-side conversions for Facebook, Google, Bing. And of course, if you work with affiliates and you no longer can use pixels, this is something we can help you with. And if you are an affiliate and you buy ads on Facebook and you cannot now give your pixel to an advertiser, we can also help you with that. And like we do in the rest, a really small case of how RedTrack works. I like this part. If you are often to this stream, you've probably seen multiple times. So here we are on our website, and we have Safari, Intelligent Tracker Prevention, and RedTrack running its own script on its own website. As you can see, Safari prevented 14 trackers on our website from profiling us. Bing, Google, Facebook, Analytics, HubSpot, Quora, use messages. I still don't know what's this. I mentioned about this last time. So not RedTrack, because all the intelligent tracking prevention is geared towards third-party cookies, cross-site tracking, well-known names, and using technology like RedTrack that works on the first-party data allows you. Oh, you don't see my screen, and this part you don't see the pop-up. Sorry, let me hold on. Let me try to change how I show it. Stop sharing. Share. And sorry for now we'll see a lot of extra screens because I will be sharing the whole screen, but I want you to see this. Sorry for that. Okay, good. Let me repeat again. 14 trackers that Safari stopped on RedTrack website. None of that is about RedTrack because Safari does not recognize us as a tracker. So simple, effective, it works. It does the conversion tracking, it does the referral tracking, it does all the attribution. Amazing. And no third-party cookies, so it will still be working, I don't know, a year from now for sure. So that's my calendar, and this is our stream. So now our favorite part, and today, surprisingly, we are talking for almost 30 minutes and not 20, like we used to do, because we try to keep this topic very simple. And again, we were talking about Google Privacy Sandbox. Is it for real? How it will impact everybody else in the ad tech, and we know that it will actually impact everybody. What will stop working, what will keep working, how to adapt to all the changes. The description to Google Privacy Sandbox is in the description of this video, and multiple readiness checklists are on our website. We should probably share them in the description too. I realized this as we talk. And now it's question time. Feel free to get all your questions. We're happy to answer them. And anything that has to do with no third-party cookies, tracking prevention, actually using tracker whenever everybody is preventing tracking. I know Facebook Conversion API, postbacks to Google, Privacy Sandbox, what have you. And of course, we also accepted the suggestions for the next topic. Again, and if no questions, if you think it was just type in if the topic was good or bad, if you liked this type of content, because we think as we'll keep those streams to generic tracking attribution questions, not talking about our product. We have different means for that, and we want to talk about something that impacts everybody, not only RedTrack or RedTrack users, but the whole niche of media buying, all the guys who are in performance marketing and who want to get the best results, all their clicks into the conversions. So any questions today? Because last time we actually had a lot of great questions. I wonder if we have any today. If not, I'll be happy to tell, hey, thank you very much. We'll prepare next topic about Facebook, so we have more questions, and we'll talk less about Google, because Google makes everybody boring, and Facebook with the changes is the hot topic. And I know because we receive those questions in dozens on a daily basis. I'm checking to my small helper from time to time to see if there are any questions. Okay, good. I see people leaving the stream, and thank you very much for being with us today. I'll stay here for just a minute. We'll stare right into the camera, waiting for somebody to ask the question, and if not, I'll see you in 2 weeks. Thank you for everybody who is also sitting silently on the stream, watching me sitting silently, and because we have a lot of people online yet. So let's say this is it for today. Surprisingly, no questions. I hope it wasn't because the topic was too boring, just because we hope we managed to explain very simple and clear, and so no further questions. Next stream, we will probably talk again about Facebook to answer all the new batch of questions that we received, and we'll receive next 2 weeks about all those changes in tracking using Facebook. So please stay tuned. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you receive our alerts. Follow us on Facebook. Maybe follow us on Twitch whenever we else show on this live stream. And please make sure to leave comments, to ask questions, and we'll see you again in 2 weeks. This is Live from RedTrack. Thank you and enjoy your day.